Bloomberg Intelligence tracks around about 2,000 companies over a wide range of industry groups, and this year its analysts have identified 50 companies globally that warrant a closer look, and they include the likes of BYD and Anta Sports. We're pleased to be joined now by Bloomberg Intelligence analysts Angela Hanlee and Catherine Lim. Okay, all these companies, those two are singled out, and they deserve a deeper look. Tell us why.
Right. You know, of the 50 companies that we've highlighted globally, 20%, which is about 10 companies, come from Asia. And of the 10, I think it will not come as a surprise to most that on the financial sides, we have our concerns, but we see constructive ideas coming through for other sectors such as consumer, including autos, apparels companies, casinos, and then we have the hardware technology companies as well as some energy names as well. So it's a good mix that we have from Asia that we do think, the market should be watching out for in Asia this year.
Right. Are there common denominators that sort of stitch together the 50? What are the common themes that we're looking at? So why the 50, effectively?
Well, if I can just speak for Asia, for instance, some of the very clear themes that's coming through financials because of the property slump that we're seeing on mainland China itself. That's going to take a hit on the property companies, the property services companies, as well as the banking sector. And then on the consumption side, again, coming back to Asia specifically, we do think that names like, BYD, Anta Sports, as well as Galaxy Entertainment are the names to actually watch for in 2024. And really, it comes from the fact that, we're still seeing fairly decent consumption, tailwinds coming through. And, on the vehicle side itself, we still see domestic companies gaining share from the international names.
Catherine, your focus is on Anta. I mean, obviously there's a few things there. You have weak consumer sentiment. How does that fare for the company? And then, of course, there's also this impact of the Anta Sports, that listing as well.
So even on the weak consumer sentiment in China, the counter to that from Anta really is that let's not forget that it is the Paris Summer Olympics this year. And, China dominates, the gold medals winnings at the Olympics. And that's going to be a bit of a catalyst for Anta Sports, that is the official sponsor for the national team of China. So with that euphoria, of course, stepping out of COVID, Chinese consumers are increasingly, aware of the, health, and they want to do more fitness activities. We've seen that coming through in the outdoor activities and, increased hiking trips, etc. So that's all going to actually bow down well for Anta Sports, which is heading in that direction. Anta Sports, just a very quick one, just the very rough calculations that we just did. An $11 billion potential market cap company that we're looking at, and that could easily translate into one-off gains for Anta Sports this year. Notwithstanding, Anta will likely be expanding aggressively in China after IPO.
To Angela, this one, and you can see the bottom of the Galaxy Entertainment, and we talked about consumption being weak in China. Of course, we don't have to talk about that. Tell us about Galaxy. It wants to ramp up operations. Angela, it's not going to be an easy thing to do, surely, in an environment like this.
Yeah, right. So as Catherine highlighted earlier, I think some companies can still win, although the whole sentiment is not good. So there are winners and losers. So in case of Macau casinos, including the Galaxy, will be kind of winner, and it can expand the market share because people still want to travel. They don't have much money to spend, but they still want to travel. So that's why they still keep going to Macau and other places. So just to talk about the demand is that you check the gaming revenue in December has been very, very good. It was hitting 81% of pre-pandemic numbers, and it's just because of mass gaming revenue, because the junket VIP is kind of that. So in that sense, I believe that the demand is very strong, and as long as you have proper products for mass segment, I think the build and they will come story still is valid for Macau casinos, and should be same for Galaxy's ramp up of this phase 3 project.
Yeah, what's the significance of phase 3? And is that almost direct competition with, I think, Sands had the Londoner, Melco, of course, added a W to Studio City.
Yes.
So what can we look forward to phase
everyone
three?
is doing expansion.
Right.
But for the case of Galaxy, the difference is that Galaxy itself is forming a cluster in the west side of the Cotai area. So like they have Galaxy Macau phase 1 and phase 2. In the upper end side, they already had Ritz-Carlton and Banyan Tree, and they also have some Galaxy Hotel as well. But after adding this phase 3, I think what's important is that they of course expanded a luxury one like a Raffles Hotel, but they opened a new capacity of this Galaxy Arena, which is about hosting events and like entertainment activities, which is going to be the major driver of foot traffic for Macau going forward. People go to Macau not just because they want to gamble; they go to Macau because they want to, go and see the concerts. So I think Galaxy is kind of creating competition for Venetian's, this like event hosting capability, but it's kind of going to have a synergy together so that they can extend the length of stay of these people in Macau. So I think this can be a differentiator for Galaxy compared to other ones adding new capacities.
Yeah, didn't they have Bruno Mars in Macau too?
Yeah, over the
Yes.
weekend. And then maybe Taylor
MGM.
Swift, maybe Jocko's coming.
Yeah, Taylor, don't go to Singapore. Come here.
Yeah. Maybe he could open for Taylor Swift after the
I don't
awkwardness at the
know.
Golden Globes.
Catherine, before we talk about
Sorry.
Taylor Swift, we are bringing it back to BYD. I mean, this is still one of the hot stocks, one of the people that everyone's talking about. But what should we look out for BYD?
Right, I guess, a great time to be talking about BYD. You guys would have seen, from General Motors, overnight itself, that they've actually sold less and fewer cars in China for the first time versus, in US. And really, domestic companies like BYD are gaining share, on the back of, tax incentives, a very good premium lined up that's winning, the buyers over. So on top of that, we actually also have, the domestic companies like BYD gaining share in terms of exports. And again, all thanks to the low-cost manufacturing and the good, battery supply chains, particularly for EVs, that is being sold out there. So this is also definitely one company to look at into 2024.
All right, great stuff. Catherine Lim there and Angela Hanlee from our Bloomberg Intelligence.